Leonora Carrington puso un océano de por medio entre su origen y lo que decidió ser. Nacida en 1917 en Lancashire, Reino Unido, a los 20 años dejó la comodidad de su familia tradicional y costumbrista para hacer lo que necesitaba. Primero fue a Francia, donde se vinculó con el ambiente artístico del momento dominado por los hombres. Luego, debido a la Segunda Guerra Mundial, viajó a Estados Unidos y finalmente llegó a México, donde decidió quedarse. A 10 años de su muerte, Joanna Moorhead, periodista de The Guardian y prima del artista, único familiar británico con quien Carrington mantuvo contacto al final de su vida, la califica como una mujer del Renacimiento.
I think that the most important legacies of Leonora are the role model she gave of somebody who is able to think outside of a lot of boundaries. I think a central theme of her work is boundaries, is the boundary between an inanimate object and an animate object, a human and an animal, life and death. She's interested in that space between these things.
Carrington era casi una desconocida en Reino Unido. Ha sido hasta este siglo que poco a poco se le valora como artista. Su obra genera cada vez más atención en su país de origen.
She could see the spaces between the layers of our lives. And all our lives need more than just the here and now. We need glimpses of something bigger, something different, something spiritual. And I think she was way ahead of her time. These themes that she was interested in the 1940s on, themes like ecology, feminism, this interconnectedness of life.
Fue hasta 2006 cuando Joanna Moorhead toma un avión y busca en México a su familiar. Carrington la recibe y retoma con ella el contacto.
I think a part of Leonora did miss Europe, Britain, and indeed our family. That's my impression, and I have to be clear about that. For example, if you look at her novel, The Hearing Trumpet, you read there about a woman very late on in life who has found herself in a Spanish-speaking country for many years, and she yearns to return at the end of her life. Now, my view is, I think part of Leonora yearned for some of the things. So I think to have a connection with her British family at the end of her life was finally welcome.
Joanna Moorhead publica el libro Leonora Carrington, Una vida surrealista, donde describe más los orígenes del artista y la amistad que tuvo con ella en los últimos años de su vida. Ahora prepara un nuevo libro.
This house that we're in now is going to be a big part of that book, but there were other very important spaces in her life. Going way back to the beginning of her life, she was much influenced by the houses in which she grew up, particularly a house in Lancashire called Crookey Hall, which was a Gothic, big, old house. Then another house called Hazelwood Hall, where she lived as a teenager. And then another very important space in her life was a house that I've also been lucky enough to spend quite a lot of time in the south of France. And in that house, she lived with Max Ernst for 2 years at the beginning of the Second World War. And there she created, as she did in this house, there she created some of her finest works. So I'm looking at that. That's my current project.
En 2023 se celebrará una exposición importante reprogramada por la pandemia. En principio recorrerá ciudades de España y Dinamarca. A 10 años de su muerte, el reconocimiento a la obra de Leonora Carrington comienza a consolidarse en Europa.